The shores of Sydney Harbour seem an unlikely setting for a celebration of Russian nationalism. Today's event is organised by a pro-Putin group called the Double-Headed Eagle Society. Among the guests is the Russian Consul General in Sydney.
In about 3 minutes, if you come and please take your seats.
The host is 31-year-old Sydney-sider Simeon Boykov, the Australian-born son of a Russian Orthodox priest. He is also the leader of the Australian Cossack Society, which styles itself as a military unit.
Today's ceremony is very significant because it's a 100-year anniversary since the 1920 Great Russian Exodus.
What are the Cossacks in Australia here to do and to achieve?
The purpose of the Cossacks in Australia is to preserve Cossack traditions, culture, values, and also to promote pro-Russian sentiment. And I've been accused of that, but I'll say it on camera. We have no problems of admitting that we are pro-Russian.
Boykov leads a small group of dedicated Australian Cossacks. Boykov's leadership has been controversial. At this meeting, filmed by the Cossacks and posted on YouTube, he is reappointed for 5 years after fighting off an attempt to remove him. Boykov has led groups of Australian Cossacks to Russia, where they fired guns and visited a military training facility. Boykov spreads his relentlessly pro-Russian views in the newspaper he founded called Russian Frontier.
The Russian Frontier newspaper in Australia is a newspaper which counters the anti-Russian hysteria. You know, people read the newspaper and they're shocked to realize, that there's a different side to the story, you know. The Western press is very anti-Russian, so this is a good alternative.
Russian Frontier doesn't just deliver pro-Russian news. It's also used to settle scores. Last year, former Australian diplomat and Russia intelligence analyst Kyle Wilson became a target of Russian Frontier.
Its content tends to be extremist. It makes a practice of identifying people who disagree with it as enemies. It calls them enemies of Russia.
Wilson had written about Boykov's pro-Russian influence activities in Australia, infuriating Boykov.
Это вообще интересная статья. Вот всем рекомендую прочитать эту статью.
The next edition of Russian Frontier branded Wilson's article racist and called him an anti-Russian conspiracy theorist. In a video posted to social media, Boykov joked about a meme he'd published of Putin with the line, "Funny guy, I kill you last," next to a photo of Wilson.
Funny guy, I kill you last. Я надеюсь, нас не арестуют за такой номер.
The abuse, the vituperation, the questioning of my motives, the impugning of my integrity by implying that I had been commissioned to write the article and had been paid by someone. Well, these are familiar tactics. As you know, protesters in Russia, who are sometimes set upon by Cossacks with their whips.
Simeon Boykov's partner in the newspaper is Russian national Valery Malinovsky. Malinovsky is also the chairman of the Australian branch of the Double-Headed Eagle Society, a pro-Putin Russian nationalist group. Boykov is his deputy.
The agenda of our branch is to promote Russian culture, to educate people, to disseminate this misconception about Russia.
Last year, Boykov and Malinovsky were appointed to their positions by the then head of the Double-Headed Eagle Society in Russia, Leonid Reshetnikov, a former Russian spy. Reshetnikov and the Russian branch of the society have been accused of involvement in espionage activities in Eastern Europe.
Now, Leonid Reshetnikov was a general in the KGB. He's now purported to be retired, but Mr. Putin has said that there's no such thing as a retired KGB officer. Now, that's the context, it seems to me, in which one should view what we're seeing in Australia, the prosecution of that information war in Australia, clearly designed to try to get the Australian government to change its policies towards reforming those policies so that they would be perceived as serving Russia's interests and not being hostile to Russia.